A thunder of jets in an open sky, a streak of gray, and a cheerful...
A loop, a whirl, and a vertical climb, and once again you'll know it's time for the adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and friends.
Starring that supersonic speedster, Rocket J. Squirrel, with his pal Bullwinkle the Moose, and a host of others.
Hurry, Bullwinkle! The show's about to start!
I'm coming as fast as I can.
Wave to the people!
Yay!
Now what are you doing?
Signing autographs. Let's see. John Smith.
But your name is Bullwinkle.
I know, but that's hard to spell.
We're gonna have a lot of fun. Come on and join us.
Sure, there's always room for one more.
Our story opens today in the quaint little hamlet of Frostbite Falls, Minnesota, the only town in the United States with more TV sets than people. The reason for this astounding fact is simple. This is the home of one of television's most sparkling personalities, Rocket J. Squirrel.
Take off your hat when you mention that name, mister.
We love Rocky.
He put Frostbite Falls on the map.
See, it's right here, under this period.
That's a fly speck, Quincy.
Oh, yeah. Well, I left my magnifying glass to home.
Hush! It's time for Rocky and his friends.
Well, of course, in Frostbite Falls, that's the magic word. And every TV set in town went on. In homes and restaurants and playpens and regular for-real pens. Of course, all the TV sets need antennas, and the rooftops of Frostbite Falls are a riotous tangle of TV antennas of every shape and description. Or, at any rate, they were. Until one terrible day when...
Bah! The TV is bust!
Oh, nonsense, Carlisle. It just needs a little adjusting.
But no, the TV set was bust.
Come on, we'll dash over to the neighbor's house and look at their... Ooh! You come to our house?
Yeah, our TV is bust.
Great gobs of goo, it's an epidemic.
Sure enough, the panic-stricken citizens soon discovered that the entire town was without television. Quickly, they summoned their hero, Rocky the Flying Squirrel, and his pal, Bullwinkle the Moose.
What's that, Rock?
It's a summons.
What does that mean?
It means someone's in trouble.
I should have knowed.
Rocky, the whole town's TV is bust.
But just then, the sharp-eyed squirrel made a startling discovery.
Hey, look up there. There's your answer.
What do you mean, Rock? There's nothing there.
That's just what I mean.
It is?
Where are all the TV antennas?
Hey, that's right.
Sure enough, there was nothing left of that forest of television antennas but a lot of metal stumps.
Our lives are ruined.
Well, they were certainly changed anyway, for with no television in Frostbite Falls, the citizens had to find other things to do of an evening. They had to resort to such outmoded pastimes as taffy pulling, front porch swinging, jigsaw puzzles, and old maid. Some few citizens were even seen reading books.
We gotta do something, Rock.
Okay, let's get those antennas back up.
And in a dazzling aerial display, Rocky, with an armload of new antennas, zoomed low over the rooftops and speared them into place. But when Bullwinkle climbed up to fasten the wires on...
Heavens do, Betsy. They're all down again.
It was true. In spite of Rocky's efforts, there wasn't one antenna left standing in all of Frostbite Falls.
Well, there's only one thing to do, Bullwinkle.
Buy a book?
No, see the sheriff.
And a little later, Sheriff Wright was on the scene to examine the evidence.
What I'd like to know is where would anybody put that many antennas?
What I'd like to know is what would anybody want them for?
What I'd like to know is what's happening to Peabody and Sherman.
Yeah. Well, let me see how the job was done. Uh-oh.
Were they sawed off, Sheriff?
Nope.
Were they chopped off?
Nope.
Were they just busted off?
Nope.
Then
I don't know quite how to say this, boys.
try it in English first.
Those TV antennas was all bitten off.
Bitten?
You mean like with teeth?
Yes, like with teeth. big, sharp, wicked teeth.
Who or what lies behind this frightening fact? Maybe we'll find out next time in Bullwinkle Bites Back, or Nothing But the Tooth.
Once upon a time, there was a very ordinary kingdom full of very ordinary people. They were so ordinary that they would have found life very dull indeed if it weren't for just one extraordinary girl named Beauty.
Oh, I spread a little sunshine on my way to make you blithe and bonny all day.
She was so lovely and gay that when ordinary people saw her, they didn't feel quite so ordinary.
Oh, I spread a little sunshine on my way. I do the best I can to make you gay. I'm always strewing flowers to and fro to bring a little sunshine where I go.
This extraordinary girl danced and bounced about so that people called her Leaping Beauty. Then one day, while she was sprinkling flowers and sunshine like crazy, a terrible thing happened.
Ow! My toe!
Oh, sorry.
You and your sprinkling. Do you know the penalty for stomping on a witch's toe?
You mean that silly bit about putting me to sleep? That tired poison apple and all that?
Yes.
But you know how that always turns out.
How?
Everybody lives happily ever after.
Yeah, that's right.
Then why don't you broom out of here?
Oh, but this witch was a smart witch, and she soon got an idea.
Oh, this is a Lulu. Instead of my putting you to sleep, you're going to put other people to sleep.
You mean no apple?
No, I'm going to invent boredom.
Boredom? Never heard of it.
Of course not. I hadn't invented it yet. But watch. From my magic medium come ennui and tedium. Dreary, dreary, dull and bleary. Beauty's voice will make them weary. Ordinary people sleep, for Beauty now is just a creep.
You know I just have to be kissed by a prince to break the spell.
But nobody's going to kiss you, dearie, for you are now a bore. A crashing bore.
After the witch was gone, Beauty quickly looked in a mirror.
I don't look like a bore.
No, nothing had changed, except maybe her voice, for she now found she couldn't stop talking.
Oh, look at you, you pretty, pretty thing. You haven't changed a tiny bit. Love that girl.
But she wasn't really the same at all.
Look at me, oh, look at me. I'm as lovely as can be. I'm as pretty as a picture, too. Lucky, lucky, lucky you.
And ordinary people did get bored.
Oh, how nice that you can see. Lovely, gorgeous little me. I should charge admission, though. I'm so cute from head to toe.
And they did fall asleep.
Oh, my goodness, the Wicked Witch did it. I'm a bore. A dreadful, crashing, sleep-making bore. And I can't do anything about it.
Yes, it was true. Beauty had bored all the ordinary people in the kingdom into a deep, deep sleep. All except the king and his prime minister. For we all know that kings and prime ministers are not ordinary people. Otherwise, how would they get to be kings and prime ministers?
Look at those ordinary people, Ponsonby. They're all asleep.
No, Majesty, they're just bored stiff.
Who has done such a thing?
A girl called Beauty. Oh, no, she is such a bore.
If she's a bore, banish her to the forest with the other boars.
But she's not quite that kind of bore.
Don't tell me what a bore is. To the forest with her.
So Beauty was banished to the deepest deep of the deep green forest with all the other boars. Fortunately, at that very moment, Prince Charming happened to be boar hunting in the forest. The prince whose kiss could break the spell.
He'll never make it. Watch.
Oh, you most extraordinary girl. Why are you crying?
Because you're standing on my foot.
Oh, sorry about that.
As if I didn't have enough trouble already. I'm a bore, you know, a terrible bore. I'm such a bore I put an entire kingdom to sleep, and all because I'm cursed with this fatal beauty. Oh, you don't know what it is to be so lovely and gorgeous and... Oh, dear, I've done it again.
Yes. The prince was so bored that he'd gone to sleep standing up.
Poor man. The least I can do is make him comfortable. Must be terrible to sleep standing up.
Little did Beauty know that a real boar with tusks was right behind the prince.
Yike!
You kissed me.
Yes, a bit of all right, what? And you know, I don't feel a bit bored.
And
Yes?
I can't think of a thing to say.
Oh, good.
Yes, the spell was broken. The witch was beaten. And so Beauty and the prince lived happily ever after. All the ordinary people in the kingdom woke up, and they lived happily ever after, too, which, as any ordinary person will tell you, is really quite extraordinary.
Oh, rats!
And here he is for the knowledge-needy Mr. Know-It-All.
Hello, Greedy Needy. Today we are here to show you how to be a human fly. First we need A, a tall building, and B, a courageous moose. That's me. And thirdly, or seedly, human fly suction cups. Available at all local suction cup stores everywhere. Then all you have to do is climb up the side, touch the flag at the top, and win a prize. Then, too, there is the stick the things on the building and start from there method, which is fine as long as you have a smooth, dry surface to cling to. Now that the smooth, dry surface has smoothed and dried, there is nothing that can preclude you successfully reaching the top, and... which brings up the problem of building superintendents. It sometimes becomes necessary to actually look like a fly and simply walk up the stairs to the top. And thus failing, there is always the fire escape, which not only offers protection from the building superintendent, but affords maximum protection in case of fire. And there you have it.
Hey, Mr. Know-It-All, you made it. What's next?
Next? Oh, yes, I salute. Should have used the other hand.
Gosh, that's too bad, Mr. Know-It-All. If you touched the flag, what would your human fly prize have been anyway?
The prize. Oh, yes, I remember. A human fly swatter.
And now...
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. See? Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! Wrong hat.
And now it's time to meet Mr. Peabody.
Hello out there, Peabody here, along with Sherman, the Wayback Machine, and Oil Can.
Why the oil can, Mr. Peabody?
We are going on a train ride, Sherman, and it is my motto, always to be prepared.
I thought that was the Boy Scouts' motto.
It is. They got it from me. Be that as it may, today the Wayback will take us way back to the year 1830. Our destination is the city of Baltimore, and our host is Peter Cooper.
Who's he?
He, Sherman, designed and produced the first locomotive engine in the United States. He called it the Tom Thumb, and we will be aboard as it races against a horse and carriage. In the hands of the Wayback, the transition to Baltimore was unbelievably swift. Before we knew it, we were in Peter Cooper's roundhouse.
I suppose you've come to take my engineer's license from me.
Engineer's license? We're here to help you win the race.
There isn't going to be any race.
Why not?
Well, you see, I constructed the Tom Thumb, then I built the roundhouse around it. The problem is I neglected to provide an opening so that the Tom Thumb could get out.
You mean there isn't any door?
What's a door?
I showed him by building one. There you are, Mr. Cooper. You now have an exit for your locomotive.
Sir, you're a genius.
You're so right. We assisted Peter Cooper in rolling the Tom Thumb up to the starting line of the race. It was then the judge announced the rules and regulations.
Gentlemen, 50 miles due south is the town of Neutral Corners. The vehicle that gets there first will be the winner.
While the judge loaded his pistol, I appraised our opposition. That horse looked as though he could run for a month without stopping, and as far as the driver was concerned, I was sure he would not only be a poor loser, but a bad winner.
Wait till that fool Cooper tries to run that iron horse. He doesn't know I greased the tracks. This ought to be a real slick race.
At the sound of the gun, we were off to a very poor start.
Something's wrong, Mr. Cooper. We're not getting anywhere.
That's simply an illusion caused by our excessive speed.
Come on, why don't you get out and push the thing?
Poor Mr. Cooper, can't we do something?
I spied a small group of 9-year-olds playing in a sand pile, and this, of course, gave me an idea. 25 cents later, I was the proud owner of a toy shovel and a bucket full of sand. Here, Sherman, dirty up the tracks.
Huh?
The sand will give us traction. Just keep throwing handfuls. Sure enough, the wheels stopped slipping, and in no time, we were highballing along.
If we can maintain this speed, we'll catch up with that horse and buggy. That is, if we can get through the 50% tunnel.
Why do they call it 50%?
Because it's only half finished.
Before I could inquire as to the exact location of the tunnel, we were in it.
I suppose they'll change the name of the tunnel now.
Tell me, sir, are there any other obstacles ahead that you're aware of?
Only the 50% bridge.
I see. Is it called 50% bridge for the same reason as 50% tunnel?
No.
Oh, that's fortunate.
They call it the 50% bridge because only the plans are half finished.
As he spoke, I could see a wide chasm in the not-too-distant distance. The brakes, Mr. Cooper! Apply the brakes!
What are brakes?
The chasm was a mere 30 yards away, or else I would have filled him in on the sagacity of having a brake along. Instead, I boosted the acceleration to its maximum point, forcing the Tom Thumb to surge ahead at a breakneck pace.
Runs beautifully, doesn't she?
She not only ran beautifully, but jumped as well. Inside of a quarter of a mile, we had not only caught up with the horse and carriage, but were slowly pulling ahead.
We're beating him! We're beating him!
But strangely enough, the driver was wearing a smile, and for a good reason.
Well, looks as though the 502 from Denver is right on schedule.
Yes, and it's also right on our track. A head-on collision appeared to be in the making, and that's when I saw a side track just ahead with a switch by it. Quick, Sherman, hand me a piece of wood.
Nice work, Mr. Peabody. Would have been terrible if the 502 had gone off schedule.
By now, we were well ahead of our opposition, and neutral corners lay just ahead. In fact, the finish line was a scant 100 yards away, and that is when I turned the supply of steam off, causing the Tom Thumb to roll to a stop.
But we haven't crossed the line yet, Mr. Peabody.
We'll cross it, Sherman, after the horse and driver.
You mean we're going to lose?
We have to, Mr. Cooper. You see, according to history books, you lost this race.
I did?
That's awful.
But history must always be truthful, Sherman. And by stopping the locomotive, we did give rise to one lasting expression.
What's that, Mr. Peabody?
Haven't you ever heard of honest engine?
Last time, you remember, the citizens of Frostbite Falls had the shock of their lives when every TV antenna in town mysteriously disappeared. Their reaction was instantaneous.
Our lives are ruined.
Some people refused to admit that the terrible thing had happened and sat doggedly before their sets anyway. Others resorted to ingenious methods of substitution.
So remember, friends, get Johnson's Foist Boinders in the red and blue box.
Oh, that's great, Henry. Now do the one about the dog food.
Still others didn't notice any change at all.
Love these sea stories.
But the most mysterious thing of all was the way the antennas had disappeared.
You may not believe this, boys, but every one of them was bitten off.
Bitten off? You mean there's some metal-munching monster loose in this town?
Now, let's not jump to conclusions, boys. There's probably some logical explanation.
Sure make a better story my way.
And it looked as if Bullwinkle might be right at that. They were watched by a pair of sinister eyes.
Well, whoever or whatever it was didn't leave a clue. I'll need some help on this case.
That's me.
Somebody who's brave.
That's me.
And trustworthy.
That's me.
And smart as a whip.
That's him.
Any ideas, Rocky?
You bet, Sheriff. I think we ought to set a trap.
Rocky, you're right as rain.
And twice as wet.
And in a very short time, the sheriff and our boys had set a trap in the form of one special king-size TV antenna, complete with instructions.
Now, we'll just stand guard here all night and see what happens.
Right, Sheriff. You take the first watch, Bullwinkle.
Okay. Oh, I'll take the first watch and you take the wristwatch and I'll do.
And as night fell, the vigilant moose patrolled his lonely post while Rocky and the sheriff dozed nearby. Then, just about midnight...
Halt! Who's there? I didn't quite catch the name. Here, let me strike a match.
And in the glow of the match, an unbelievable sight met Bullwinkle's eyes.
Heck, it's just a mouse. An ordinary 6-foot metal mouse. 6 foot? Now, I wonder...
But Bullwinkle didn't wonder long, for the strange intruder raised a heavy metal fist and... Daylight was dawning when Rocky and the sheriff opened their eyes.
Hey, is it my turn to... Hokey smoke!
Godfrey, the antenna's gone.
Sure enough, the decoy antenna had been bitten off to a tiny stump, and there beside it lay the mighty moose sound asleep.
Bullwinkle, how could you do it?
What? How could I do what?
You went to sleep at your post. How could you do it?
Easy, I just closed my eyes. Hey, wait! I didn't go to sleep. I was attacked and put to sleep.
You were attacked?
No, attacked.
Who did it?
It was a... Now, wait a minute, Bullwinkle. Will the sheriff believe you saw a 6-foot metal mouse? No. Will Rocky believe it? No. Do you believe it? No. Well, then...
Tell me who did it, Bullwinkle, and we'll...
I'm sorry, Rock. I can't tell you.
Can't tell me? Your best friend, your old buddy boy.
Sorry, I just can't. Okay, Sheriff, get the spoon.
The spoon?
Yeah, I'm ready to take my medicine.
And so over Bullwinkle falls the ugly shadow of guilt. Don't fail to see our next heart-rending episode, Knock on Wood, or Bullwinkle Takes the Rap.
It looks as if our time has just about run out.
Just enough left to tell him who the sponsor was.
You got the credits, Bullwinkle?
All on this itty-bitty card. Oop.
We're late again, Bullwinkle.
Right.
Bye now. See you next time.